In October 2019, the National Park Service and the Royal Netherlands Embassy joined forces to launch the renovation of the Netherlands Carillon. While the National Park Service started renovating the tower in Arlington, Virginia, the embassy coordinated the renovation of the bells and shipped them to the Netherlands, where they were restored and tuned by Dutch bell foundry Royal IJsselbouws. To increase the musical capacity of the instrument, 3 new bells are being cast, raising the number of bells in the carillon to 53. This process began in April 2020, just before Dutch-American Friendship Day, which we celebrate on April 19th, signaling the importance of the carillon to the friendship between our two nations. The birth of the new bells is one of the highlights of the Netherlands' campaign to celebrate 75 years of freedom. During this year-long campaign, the people of the Netherlands are showing their gratitude toward their World War II liberators, including the United States, and celebrating the fact that their freedom was restored in 1945. The new bells are dedicated to 3 influential Americans who had a great legacy and impact on the world, including the Netherlands, during and after World War II: George C. Marshall, Martin Luther King Jr., and Eleanor Roosevelt. The largest bell carries the name George C. Marshall and the 75 Years of Freedom logo. The ornament on the higher rim shows a number of iconic images, including windmills, bridges, cows, cheese carriers, fruit and leaves, shells, fish, and the traditional coat of arms of the Netherlands. The bell is nearly 5 feet 9 inches in diameter and weighs 7,595 pounds. The bell is dedicated to Secretary George C. Marshall for his leadership of the Allied victory in World War II and his Marshall Plan after the war. As General of the Army and Chief of Staff, George Marshall played an important role in the Allied victory in World War II. After the war, as Secretary of State under President Harry Truman, he created the European Recovery Program, better known as the Marshall Plan, to rebuild Western Europe, including the Netherlands. From 1948 to 1951, the United States gave roughly $13.3 billion worth of money, goods, and services to the war-devastated nations of Western Europe. The Netherlands was among the top recipients, receiving $1.1 billion, or approximately 8% of the total Marshall aid. The designs of the 2 smaller bells are based on the design of the 50th bell, which was given in 1995 and inscribed with the words freedom and friendship, along with the years 1945 and 1995. Both of these bells feature the coat of arms of the Netherlands and the United States, their namesakes, and the year 2020. The first of these 2 smaller bells reads Martin Luther King Jr. and weighs 37.5 pounds and has a diameter of 9.25 inches. This bell is dedicated to the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. for the everlasting imprint he left on American society. As a Baptist minister and social rights advocate, the Reverend Dr. King risked everything to stand up for civil rights and social justice. Through his nonviolent campaign against racism, he became the voice of the American civil rights movement. The name on the 3rd bell is Eleanor Roosevelt. It weighs 26.5 pounds and has a diameter of 8.25 inches. This bell is dedicated to Eleanor Roosevelt for her role as an advocate for social justice and human rights. Eleanor Roosevelt, the wife of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, whose ancestors emigrated from Zeeland, the Netherlands, advocated tirelessly for social welfare and human rights, including expanded roles for women in the workplace, the civil rights of African Americans and Asian Americans, and the rights of World War II refugees. As chair of the United Nations Human Rights Commission, she cemented her legacy in 1948 as the driving force in creating the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. These influential Americans continue to inspire people, both in the Netherlands and the rest of the world, and their legacies continue to pass on freedom.